Welcome to the Faith Focus Network, where we delve into the spiritual journey of the Catholic faith. I'm your host, Daniela Bezant, and today we're tackling a profound and often challenging aspect of the spiritual life, and that is spiritual dryness. Whether you've experienced difficulty concentrating, feeling like your prayers are going unheard, or simply wondering why the emotional highs of your early faith journey have waned, this episode's for you. Spiritual dryness, sometimes called desolation, is a period where one feels distant from God. Prayers seem unanswered, and the usual spiritual consolations are absent. St. John of the Cross famously called this the dark night of the soul. It's a time when one's faith feels tested, and it can be a profound period of spiritual growth if it's navigated correctly. In the beginning of one's conversion, many experience what's known as spiritual consolation. This is when the Holy Spirit gives mystical or emotional responses to let you know you're not alone and that your prayers are effective. It's like a spiritual embrace, full of warmth and encouragement. Although I did hear one monk once refer to it as spiritual cookies that God gives new converts. However, as you mature in your faith, the Holy Spirit begins to give you more independence. Think of it like a toddler learning to walk. Initially, every step is celebrated and there's constant cheering and support. But as the walking becomes second nature, the encouragement steps back. It's not because the support is gone, but because the toddler has grown more capable. Similarly, spiritual dryness can be seen as a compliment from the Holy Spirit, giving you space to cultivate your faith independently. Many saints and doctors of the Church have experienced and written about spiritual dryness, so let's look at a few. Saint Teresa of Avila, a doctor of the Church, often wrote about her struggles with spiritual dryness. In her book, The Interior Castle, she describes how these periods are essential for spiritual growth and deeper communion with God. St. John of the Cross, known for his profound works on the dark night of the soul, emphasized that these times are purifying. They strip away superficial attachments, allowing the soul to seek God for his sake alone. And perhaps one of the most famous modern examples is Mother Teresa. She experienced decades of spiritual dryness, and despite this, she continued her mission with unwavering faith, teaching us that perseverance in faith doesn't depend on emotional consolation. For those with things like attention deficit disorder, spiritual dryness can be even more challenging due to difficulty in maintaining focus during prayer. So here are some tips for managing. Use structured prayers like the Rosary or the Liturgy of the Hours to maintain focus. Instead of long prayer sessions, try short, frequent prayers throughout the day. And use physical reminders like prayer beads or a prayer journal to help maintain concentration. I actually put prayer into my daily scheduler. Interestingly, the feeling of being alone or unheard in prayer doesn't mean the Holy Spirit isn't with you. God's name is written in your DNA. If you don't believe me, Google it. And it reflects a profound truth. We are inherently connected to our Creator. So during spiritual dryness, this intrinsic connection remains intact, even if it feels distant. Navigating spiritual dryness requires patience, perseverance, and practical steps. So first, start fasting. Fasting is a powerful spiritual discipline that can help refocus your mind and spirit. It reminds us of our dependence on God and can bring clarity during dry periods. Maintain regular prayer routines even if it feels dry. The consistency itself is a form of faithfulness, and many saints have claimed that when you pray, especially when you're not in the mood and you really struggle and you do it anyways, you actually gain more spiritual benefits, a greater indulgence because you've done that. Read spiritual classics and writings of the saints. Their experiences and insights can provide comfort and guidance. And engage with your faith community. Sometimes sharing that struggle with others can provide new perspectives and support. And, of course, regular participation in the sacraments, especially the Eucharist and reconciliation, that provides a lot of grace and strength. If you're experiencing spiritual dryness, take heart. It's often a sign of spiritual maturity and growth. The Holy Spirit is giving you space to deepen your faith independently, much like a parent encouraging a child to walk on their own. Remember, you're not alone. The saints and many faithful before you have walked this path, and their wisdom can guide you. Thank you for joining me today on this deep dive. I hope this episode provided you some insights. Please remember to subscribe and leave a comment. It really helps us when you do. And if there's anything you'd like us to cover in the future, put that in comments as well. Until next time, may the peace of Christ be with you and keep that faith alive.